All right, what's up, everybody? It is Sunday, and it is time to gear up for another week. So I was going to run through some of the charts that I like for this week, but before I do, I was going to go over some of the positions I have now and some of the ones I stopped out. Mostly swing stuff. The current environment has been very favorable for swing and momentum trading, so I've been trying to focus a lot of my attention and resources into swing trading lately. So yeah, let's jump into it and see what we got lined up for this week. So APLD was one that I took, what was it, 2 weeks ago now, and I was taking it out of this consolidation here. We got a decent drive higher, and then we got some consolidation, some tight inside days right on the 10-day. And the day I bought it was on this day. It was actually a nice setup because you can see we opened up, it traded lower, and then reclaimed the previous day's lows, and then closed really strong above them, basically an engulfing candle here. And I was buying here on the breakout right around like 35.50. So actually, I think I was just under 36 is my cost basis. And then we got some really nice follow through days, broke out to all-time highs, and now we're consolidating higher. I did trim a good amount into these moves. I added a little bit back, I think, on these pullbacks and maybe some up here. So my cost basis is up, I think, just under 40. And what I'm going to do this week, when I get down to these trailing positions where I'm at now, usually I'll trail them versus the 10-day. Since we have such a strong pivot here at 40, that's obviously been a big area in the past, and we've tested it. On the initial breakout, we broke through it and then back tested it, had a little swipe below it and reclaimed it pretty strong. So I'm going to use 40 as my stop. Usually what I'll do is a close below the 10-day will be my stop, but since we have this 40 area just below it, I'm going to give it a little bit more room and see if I can hold the 40 area and make another push higher up into the 50s would be ideal. So that's one of the swings we had over the last couple of weeks. Been a really good one. That played out well. Next was this NVTS. This was an awesome setup. You guys have heard me talk in the room a bunch about these kind of like deep flag pulls where you get a really strong momentum move, a deep pull, like almost a 50% retracement, and then a lot of tight inside days and consolidation right on the 10-day here. And then we got the breakout leg, was buying this into the 18 area, and the next day we had a monster move higher, broke out on really good volume and sold some into that move, and then it's just been kind of trading sideways. It's actually kind of setting up for another consolidation breakout that we could look to add into if it does break through this trend line. So I'm going to watch this this week and see if we can ideally we get a few more days of inside, let the 10-day catch up, let this get maybe a little bit tighter under the trend line, and then we get a push through like maybe this 23 area or lower that we can buy more shares into and see if we can get another leg out of this. But this was NVTS. This is a really good setup. I love these huge moves that we get, and then the tight consolidation right after. It's like the first flag setup, and you can see it's just been sideways for months. And then we finally got the momentum move out, and it's starting to continue. So when we start catching these trends, I want to hold on to these positions as long as I can. I have, I think, a little less than half a position after this big move here. And so I'm going to trail this versus the 10-day and let this play out as long as I can and see if we can catch another leg or two out of this. So that was MVTS, really nice one. RKLB was, I think, the best swing so far this year. For me, we caught it really, really good after earnings here. We had the nice push up higher. We had this deep flag right on the 10-day, just a week or two of really tight back and forth inside days. And then after the earnings, which were really good, it gave us an opportunity to get long in the pre-market. I think I was buying just above 85, and this thing just absolutely skyrocketed and was trimming into these moves here. Normally I won't trim on the first day, but this thing was up like 20% or something. So you have to take some off the table when you're getting a move like that. And so yeah, and then we got another follow through day and then a little inside day, and I ended up selling the balance of my position into this gap higher. I kind of wish I would have held on to it. It was just such a big move in such a short amount of time. I thought we were going to get a sharper pullback, but it's been holding in really well. And so I ended up taking the balance off, but I am going to keep watching it. and see if this can give us another, maybe we'll get a deeper pull in here and get another setup like this with some tight consolidation right on the 10-day. And then that could be another play to get long and get back involved with this name. But this was an awesome trade. Just was such like it resolves instantly. As soon as the market opened, this thing just took off and never looked back. It was bid up all day long, and then we got the same action the next day. Just an ideal momentum breakout play, which has been really good right now in these markets. So I'm going to keep pushing these types of setups as long as we can. So that was RKLB. The other one was HUT. This one was a little bit more difficult. We had this nice leg higher, gapped up on earnings, had a bunch of inside days, and then I was buying it on this day, looking for this to get a continuation. There's a little bit of supply here up above 110. You can see we've wicked above it multiple times, and now we've kind of broke lower. And I did end up stopping out on this on Friday as we broke down into the 10-day here. It doesn't mean it still can't go. I just didn't want to be holding it red going into the weekend in case we gap lower, and then I'm looking at a bigger loss than I really wanted on the name. So it's been a little bit difficult. Ideally, when these things break out of the consolidation, they go and don't look back, and this one has been a little bit choppier. So I stepped out of it. Doesn't mean I won't revisit it if it bids back up and starts to break out. I think at this point, I want to see it break above 110 and hold. So I'll put an alert up there. And I'll just keep tabs on it over the coming days and weeks. So that was HUT. And then we had Microsoft. I've been in this for a while, but it's really starting to shape up now. Been beat down with the CapEx and everyone a little bit worried about software in general. We finally got a nice move higher here, and we've been flagging for weeks now, holding right above the 400 area. And then on Friday we woke up and there was news Ackman's been acquiring Microsoft for the last month and has made it a core position in its portfolio. So we got a huge update on it, lots of volume. If we can start to clear this flag, basically 430 area, I'm going to be adding more to the position. And then hopefully we get, if it gets going, we could see a quick move back into the earnings gap above this 442.50 area. And then we can see if we can start to really gain some momentum. But yeah, I've been trading around this position for months now, and was buying into this weakness, added into this, and been taking profit and trading around back and forth. So hopefully we can get some more momentum in this over the coming days and see if we can get back into this earnings gap for a nice win. Maybe move back into the 500 area, maybe this summer at some point. All right, so that's Microsoft. I'm really liking it now that we got a tailwind with Ackman. Maybe that'll bring some more confidence in other investors and bigger money to move back into the name. And so that's Microsoft. What else we got here? Fly. This is one I'm in. I almost stopped out on Friday, but it ended up rebidding back up. I bought this, I think, on this day as it was breaking out above this level right around like 40.50. And it's been a little bit choppier. It looked really good here on Thursday. I thought this was going to be the day, that we would start the new trend. And then Friday, markets are a little bit weaker. This was a little bit weaker. And it kind of just had a back and forth day. So we'll see if this wants to hang in. Basically, at this point, I'm going to use 37.50 as a stop on this. And otherwise, I'm going to hold it and see if this can break out and make a bigger move higher into the, above 45 and into the 50s area would be ideal. So that was FLY. And then we have some different names here for, I'm looking for short-sighted trades on this. INTC, absolute monster move. And we're starting to retrace it now. And we're back below the 10-day. So what I'm looking for here is some sideways action and consolidation and let the 10-day kind of get tight down on this price action. And then I'd be looking for follow-through play down through 105 to see if we can get a little bit further of a move back down. I don't know what this is. But yeah, that's it. Usually after a big move like this, we'll get a deeper pull. So what I'm looking for is that consolidation. We got back below the 10-day. If we can break down through 105, I think that could set up for a nice move down to 100 and lower. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for this week. Ideally, we see a few days of consolidation, maybe some sideways action, maybe a back test of the 10-day that fails, something like that that confirms prices are holding lower. Okay, but if we start to pop above the 10-day and start to hold, I'm going to wait it out and see how it trades from there. All right, so just a short idea there in INTC. PAN-W as well. This has gotten a little vertical, big, steep breakout move. I'm not going to trade this short unless we have a gap up coming into tomorrow, like above 250 or higher. I would like to see a bigger gap up and then look to fade that move for a little mean reversion play. These obviously have been a lot trickier in this market. It's been very difficult to get any kind of meaningful pullback. So I will be approaching this a little bit more carefully, really looking for the setups I want and trading a little bit smaller on these plays. Now, if we came in, there was a huge gap up, I'd probably be a little bit more aggressive. But other than that, I'll probably be a little bit more cautious sizing-wise, trying to take these reversals. So that is PAN-W, just looking for a gap up tomorrow to maybe try and fade. And then some other names that are on my radar. ALAB, I missed this one. I was looking, we had this really strong move, and then we've had this flag pattern that was really strong with these higher lows holding the 10-day area. And we did have this earnings pop that sold, but then it held in very well, and we got rebitted right back up. This was the buy day here on the break through the trend line. But I missed it, and I didn't want to chase price. Probably could have bought it on this day on the pullback, but I didn't take it. And then Friday we gap lower, and it's held. And then we got a really nice buy to end the Friday. So I'll keep tabs on it. Right now I just kind of want to see how it plays out. I'm not going to chase the price higher, but I do want to see how it plays out. I thought this was a good setup. We had a nice strong move, some sideways actions for a couple weeks, and now we're starting to push higher, and maybe this wants to make new all-time highs. Maybe it wants to set up again and give us a nice tight flag, holding higher, maybe above the 220 area, and we could look to buy that to see if we can make a push up into the 260s. But that's ALAP. I like it. Right sector, good looking chart. Could see this setting up again for us. RVMD, healthcare, biotech, not normally names that I swing, but this one's had some really good data here on phase 3, has been holding very well, got a clean trend line, high tight action here on the 10-day. If this starts to break out above 150, I'd probably put on a position and see if we can get some momentum in this name for a swing long as well. So I got my alert set out above 150. We'll see if that wants to break out this week. I thought we were going to get it on this day here. We had a really nice close just below the trend line, kind of poked its head above and then got weak. And then the next day we had a little downside, but it's still holding well. The trend and consolidation is still intact. So I will keep this on my radar. Some other names we had, FIGR, this one was just starting to pop back up. It's in the right sector. Had some really good volume come in it after earnings. This obviously needs more time, but if we got a nice flag pattern, I would give this a shot for another move higher. The thing with this one that I like is when it does get moving, it can make some very big moves. So I did want to keep it on my radar, but like I said, it still needs time to set up. It needs some sideways action and, maybe a week or so of sideways that can set up for a breakout to the upside, maybe back into the 50s or higher. So this is, I'll put an alert on it just in case, but this does need time. So watching that ARM, this one I took on Thursday, ended up stopping out on Friday. We had the really nice strong momentum move, and now we've had weeks of consolidation back and forth. And I was buying it on this day. I was starting to break out. And then Friday, we came into a weak market, and this gap lower and kind of held lower. So I did take it off, but it is still within the pattern and the consolidation. So this could still set up. And if it did break out again, I would be trying it again. But may need a day or two to reset up before it wants to take off. And then if it starts to break to the downside, I'll just take it off my watch list. But it's in the right sector. It's a great name, great move higher. It's holding sideways, holding these higher prices. So as long as it stays within this pattern, I'm going to keep it on my radar and see if this wants to pop back up out of the trend and make another leg. So that's ARM. We also got SWKS. I just found this on the scanners today, so I'm going to keep tabs on this. Kind of a beatdown name. Decent earnings, had a nice day on the, or I'm sorry, not on the earnings, the consolidation after earnings is what I was interested in. We gapped down after the earnings, looked really weak, and then it held prices sideways. So we had a strong move into it, and then we got really nice consolidation, a really nice flag here post earnings, and it's been holding well, and we've had decent volume. So if this wants to pop up above 70, that's a pretty clear area. I'd be buying into that, and we can see if this wants to set up for a swing long as well. Decent setup here with SWKS. Some other names, AFRM. Another beatdown name that's kind of acting a little bit better. Really strong move, and we're holding these higher, tighter prices. Not the cleanest flag, but it is holding tight up here. So yeah, if this wants to break out of this trend line, basically, you've got these highs here. It's right around, like, let's just call it 69. So if it starts to break up above 69, this could be a good look for another leg higher. All right, we've had some really good consolidation, pretty big base here to break out of. So I'll be watching this as well this week with AFRM. All right, and then the last one, this is my favorite one, INOD. It's in the right sector, huge gap higher, lots of momentum, and we've gotten some really tight inside day action. So I'm basically watching this to break out of this consolidation pattern to the upside, right around 98, I think would be the ideal area. If we can get in there, throw an alert. Put another one. But you get names like this that can really move. You catch a momentum leg on this, and you could have a huge position. You can make some really good money and fairly quick. So this is something I'm going to be watching for. It's a high momentum name that can really get going. This kind of reminds me a little bit of neg back before it broke out, where we had that really strong momentum, a deeper pull in with that tight flag before it really took off. Now, this did have a high short interest, so there was a little bit of a different dynamic. Although INOD does have close to a 20% short interest, so who knows, maybe that could help fuel this. But the setup is there. It's got the strong momentum, huge volume, and now we're getting that tight inside pattern. Ideally, what I'd like to see is this hold a couple more days of tight action here and build a little bit bigger of a base and let this 10-day catch up. And that could really spring load this thing and let it take off through 100 and then punch back up through this pivot here. So INOD, high on the radar, right sector, great looking chart so far. If this starts to break out, I'll definitely be hopping in this one. All right, and then, so that's basically it. Q's obviously been holding really strong. I did not expect this at all, but it happened. So as long as it's holding like this, I'm going to be swinging all the setups I can. It's just been a great market to be involved in. So if you are trying to fade this stuff, just be careful. It can be a very frustrating trade. I know it's up huge and it seems like the obvious trades to the downside, but it's just been such a difficult move. All these gaps are holding. It's holding prices. Every move's just been held. So until we start to break below the 10-day, I'm just going to keep pushing these swings and these momentum plays going forward. So we will see where the futures open up a little bit later today, and see how the markets look tomorrow morning to kind of make our game plan and get ready for the week. All right, so that's what I have for you guys. I will see you in the room tomorrow, and we'll see what's setting up for us then. All right, I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I'll see you in the room mañana.